Hello viewers, welcome to my channel Pharmacypedia. In this session, we are going to discuss further about WHO guidelines for the technology transfer. In the previous part, we discussed about the basics of the technology transfer and other requirements. In this part, we are going to discuss about the documentation part, premises, analytical transfer and quality control. So let us first begin with the documentation part. Like we have discussed in the previous part one, the technology transfer is the process whereby we are actually transferring the process developed, transferring the product developed from one unit to another unit. The unit which sends the information is known as sending unit, SU, and the unit which receives the information is the receiving unit. So the technology transfer has to be in a systematic way so that it can go in a work in a proper way, because when we have to prepare the batch for the commercial production, we have to look after so many things, so much cost is being involved, so care has to be taken at each and every step, each and every end. So when we talk about the documentation which is required for the transfer of the project itself is wide ranging. So the documented evidence that the transfer of the technology has been considered successful should be formalized. So if we want to make the transfer of technology successful, we have to have adequate documentation. So this documentation will, whatever process has been adopted at the sending unit, at the research and development center, has to be in a proper and a systematic way, because we need to understand the process first and then we need to make the understand the receiving unit as well. So that report should, the technology transfer summary report should summarize the scope of the transfer, the critical parameters which are very important for the formulation manufacturing to the receiving unit. So my dear viewers, you can understand that whatever process technology has been adopted at the sending unit needs to be understood by the receiving unit. So now it becomes the responsibility also of the receiving unit, the person who are going to do the manufacturing process, to understand each and everything about the active pharmaceutical ingredient, about the excipients, about the finished product, whatever technology has been adopted for the testing of the formulation. So this is only possible when each and every document prepared by the sending unit during the development process, during the history, during the change control, has been passed on to the receiving unit. Now let us try to focus on the premises and the equipment part. So when we develop the product at the R&D scale, it is at a small level. So the equipments utilized are different from the one which will be developed at the commercial level. So it is very important here to understand that SCU, that is sending unit, should provide the complete information about the layout, the construction, the finish of the buildings, and services for like heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, in short known as HVAC, temperature control, relative humidity, water power, compressed air. So whatever has been taken during the formulation of the product, the same condition should be tried to be achieved at the receiving unit, because if there is any sort of the variation, that may result in the variation in the product. So if we want to have the same quality of the product, we should try to mimic, and the sending unit has to send each and every information regarding the temperature, regarding the humidity condition to the receiving unit. Apart from that, certain other things also very important to be passed on from the sending unit to the receiving unit is about the inherent risk of the manufacturing process. So one thing is very important: is there any hazard associated to the analyst working over that particular product, or like health and safety requirements to minimize the operator exposure? If any sort of the hazard while handling the API or while handling the excipient, that should be clearly communicated to the receiving end, so that accordingly the operations can take place. Apart from that, emergency planning considerations are also very important. In case of any hazard, how to deal with the hazard, and identification of the waste stream, and the provisions for reuse and recycling or redispersal is very important. So one can understand that while doing the emergency planning, the same instructions have to be provided to the receiving unit, so that they can plan accordingly, they can do the waste management, they can create the provisions for the recycling. Let us next move about the equipment. So like I have said earlier, whatever equipments have to be used at the receiving end, they have to be verified, they have to be cleaned, they have to, so like when we try to have the in vitro and in vivo correlation, in that case we try to simulate the same conditions whatever has been in vivo to the in vitro test. On similar lines, one can understand when we need to transfer the technology from one end to another and from one unit to another unit or two different units, we need to look after whatever conditions have to be provided earlier, whatever equipments have been used earlier, whatever analytical method have been used earlier for the product development, the same needs to be carried out at the receiving end. So it is the responsibility of the sending unit to provide a list of the equipments, models, manufacturing, filling, packing, and control of the product, process or the methods to be transferred, along with the documentation. Other documentation which may also be sent along with these are like drawings, manuals, logbooks, calibration logs, procedures, and this is from the sending unit. So once these information has been sent to the receiving unit, now it becomes the responsibility of the receiving unit to review the information which is provided by the sending unit. So together with its own inventory list, they have to understand all these documents. They have to think about the validation part. They have to think about the qualification part simultaneously, so that the both process can be carried out in the same way, whatever has been taken from the sending unit. After that, the receiving unit should also perform some gap analysis. For example, if there is a variation of the equipment, they need to understand and have to adapt for the existing equipment. So they need to, if any sort of the change is being required, they need to understand if there is any sort of the change in the process is to be required. But at the same time, it is important to understand that GMP requirement should be satisfied. The batch sizes have to be planned accordingly. So one has to be very much particular and concerned about the material of the constructions, critical operating parameters. Critical operating parameters are the key steps which have to be taken care very carefully, so that you can have a good quality of the manufacturing. And apart from that, what are the critical equipments which cannot be changed, or like what are the critical quality attributes? How much is the range? So all these things have to be taken care of, and like the facility and the building specific location of the equipment has to be taken care of, and both the team, sending units and the receiving unit, has to work together to understand and manufacture the product, taking into account both the conditions. Now let us try to focus on the qualification and the validation part. So when we talk about the qualification and the validation, the extent of the qualification and the validation to be performed should be determined on the basis of the risk management principles. So WHO guidelines clearly says that you have to take into account the risk management principles, and qualification and the validation should be very well documented. So when we talk about the analytical method transfer, one can understand the transfer of the analytical method also happens with the transfer of the manufacturing process. So the transfer of the analytical method should provide all the analytical testing, detailed procedures, and they have to be complied. So sending unit should explain all the testing processes and all testing in detail to the receiving unit. Analytical methods used to test the pharmaceutical product should start from the starting material, packaging components, cleaning samples, and they have to make the receiving unit understand about the each and every process in the detail. Now both the teams, as sending unit and the receiving unit, should execute the transfer protocol. So in the earlier part 1 video, we have discussed about the technology transfer protocols, which comprises of the several documents, and both the units have to work together and jointly prepare a transfer report. So the points to be addressed in the analytical method transfer reports have to be as per the guidelines. So it clearly says that the analytical method transport report should have all the details about the raw materials, all the testing procedure, all the packaging components, all the cleaning residue samples, and also it should detail about the transfer of the methods. The analytical method transfer protocol should include a description of the objectives, scope, and the responsibilities of the sending unit and receiving unit. So like the analytical people working in a team in the sending unit should coordinate with the analytical working team of the receiving unit, so that they can check around that what whatever testing methodologies has been taken care by the sending unit, the same should be followed by the receiving unit. So there are certain responsibilities for the analytical technology transfer which have to be maintained. For example, it becomes the prime responsibility of the sending unit to provide the training to the analyst and also to the quality control testing results. Apart from that, they have to make clear about all the methods, experimental designs, validation reports, reports about the equipment and the procedures used in the testing while testing the product. So the same testing methodology, equipment, validation reports have to be conducted by the analyst at the receiving unit. So they both should work in coordination as per the WHO guidelines. So then it becomes a receiving unit responsibility to review whatever analytical method that has been provided by the sending unit along with the necessary equipments, and their staff should be adequately trained by the sending unit. They should form a complete technology transfer analytical protocol, and this protocol should cover about the validation reports and other important documents like the training reports, and they have to follow the compendial method for the analytical testing. For example, they should consult the international pharmacopoeias, European pharmacopoeia, British pharmacopoeia, and United States pharmacopoeia wherever it is applicable. And if the process is not being defined by them, then analytical alternative procedures and acceptance criteria have to be developed, and it has to be tested as per that. So when we talk in a nutshell about the WHO guidelines, they clearly say that the whole transfer process, whether it is about the manufacturing method, whether it is about the analytical method, whether it is about the raw material, API, excipients, finished product, so whatever technology has been adopted by the sending unit, they should be transferred in a proper documented manner, in a proper systematic manner, logical manner to the receiving unit, and it is the responsibility of the receiving unit to understand each and every document and need to understand whatever has been there, and if any sort of the changes that need to be made at the receiving unit, and that should be wholly approved by the sending unit. So the both teams have to work together to have the single aim project to have the successful transfer of the technology. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel Pharmacypedia for getting further updates.